Hey everybody, I'm back with another installment to Dave's Corner. I am Dave D. Saint, and I'm here to deliver some of the news and a couple of reviews, two reviews for two movies that I saw recently. So without further ado, this is probably going to be a long one. I'll try to make it as quick as possible. And we'll start with some of the news that we found out. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been just racking up all these headlines and stuff that I've been hearing and stuff that I wanted to talk about on here. I didn't do last week a video because I didn't see any movies. I mean, yeah, I did, but I usually wait. Last week I saw, the week before that I didn't see anything. So yeah, well, I just been writing stuff down and stuff. So to start off with number one, Kevin Feige is developing a Star Wars film. I mean, I guess he's had success with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A lot of people are like giving him credit for this cinematic universe working. I honestly believe the cinematic universe started way before he came into the picture. I mean, when Paramount owned the rights to Captain America, what was it, Iron Man, Thor, all those other movies. It wasn't until I think they even owned the rights to the first Avengers. I think that's when Disney started joining the whole Marvel thing. Universal owned Hulk, which they still own Hulk. They're just sharing the rights with Disney, kind of like what Spider-Man is doing with what Sony is doing with Spider-Man and Disney. I believe the cinematic universe already had been set. It wasn't until Disney bought it in I believe around the time that Avengers came into play. And it wasn't until they went in effect, I think it was when Ant-Man came out. I used to know this 100%, but I remember that the first few movies were the Paramount logo. It wasn't Marvel Studios, Disney. It was just Marvel, Paramount. So I think Kevin Feige inherited $1 million corporation, and from there he just started going buck wild and doing the stuff that he does best, which is make movies based on comic books and make millions and millions and millions of dollars. So let's see what he does with Star Wars. I mean, the Star Wars films haven't been awesome to date. When we had The Force Awakens, it was pretty much a rehash or a reboot of New Hope. When they came out with The Last Jedi, it wasn't that great. I mean, it didn't do anything for the story. It pretty much halted the story. So a lot of people were torn in between. There was one group of people that said it sucked. One group of people said it was the best movie ever. I personally thought it was okay. It didn't do anything for the series. The best one that Disney has produced as of yet when it comes to the Star Wars franchise, I believe it's been Rogue One. Rogue One was such an amazing movie. It tied into New Hope. I thought it was immaculate. I even kind of liked. I liked the Solo film. It's so bad that it went the way it did. I mean, with the Solo film being stuck in limbo, getting a director that really didn't know what he was doing, so many different mistakes that were being done while the movie was in development. And then finally, when they got Ron Howard to direct it, it was too late for him to save it. It already had gotten bad publicity and all that stuff. So right now, people are talking so much trash, saying that the movie sucked and all that stuff, when it really wasn't that bad. I would have loved to see the trilogy that he had planned. They had 3 movies planned out for this, for the Solo series. But unfortunately, being that it was the bomb that it was, they decided to can the whole thing, bringing all the side story films to a halt. And then with The Last Jedi being a half and half type thing, Walt Disney looked like they were really they might have done something great with the MCU, but with the Star Wars universe, they were looking like they were going straight to So, did have a side story planned out for a movie to do with Boba Fett. But now what they decided to do is, since they have the Disney Plus app coming out, they decided to do The Mandalorian instead, which would be probably, don't know exactly what it's about. I have an inkling that it might be about the Boba Fett story and how he came up to be and all that other beautiful stuff. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Let's see what Kevin Feige does with the Star Wars universe. If he was able to turn the MCU into a billion-dollar profit system, let's see if you could do the same thing with Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars already has a huge following. You just need to put something beautiful, smack the name Star Wars on it, and people will go see it. So if Kevin Feige does it, let's see what he can do. I'm not saying that he's gonna save it. I mean, I have faith that he'll do a good job, but let's see. I mean, who can tell, All right, let's talk about the second bit of news that I found out. We had the early screening of Maleficent, Mistress of Darkness, and in this early screening, what's her name? Michelle Pfeiffer appeared, Elle Fanning, Angelina Jolie, and other famous stars. But Michelle Pfeiffer was talked to, and they asked her, being that she played Catwoman in Batman Returns, they were asking her questions about who would be a good Catwoman to play opposite Robert Pattinson in the new Batman movie that they're releasing, and Michelle Pfeiffer nominated Elle Fanning. Do you think that she can be a good Catwoman? I mean, they've been throwing around a lot of names for Catwoman, but nothing is set in stone. Just like they've been talking about Jonah Hill as the Penguin or the Joker, and they've just been saying a whole bunch of stuff. It hasn't been confirmed yet. Robert Pattinson is pretty much like the only character that has been confirmed in the Batman movie. But it was just so funny that Michelle Pfeiffer would nominate Elle Fanning, which wouldn't be so bad. I think Elle Fanning, she's a pretty good looking. She grew up to be a really good looking woman. Let's just see if she has the chops to take up the mantle of what Michelle Pfeiffer and some of these other ladies that have donned the cat ears. See if she can actually do it. Halle Berry played her, and supposedly the worst Catwoman film ever made, and so many others. But let's see who they choose to play Catwoman. Elle Fanning wouldn't be my first choice, but it's just funny how Michelle Pfeiffer would nominate her, probably because they worked together in Maleficent and the Mistress of Darkness. So she's just probably being biased. So who knows? Let's get to topic number 3. So, the Joker movie was set to have an opening weekend of $80 million, but made $93.5 million, and that was only in the U.S. But worldwide, it made over $234 million. That's a lot for an opening weekend. Now, I'm not going to get into talking about the Joker, because Joker is one of the movies that I'm going to be reviewing toward the end of this video. So I just wanted to set that film has been awaited. It was one of the most awaited films of this year, and I wouldn't be too surprised if it's the second film to reach $1 billion, Aquaman being the first. So I'm waiting to see if it gets there, because I'm rooting for DC all the way. I'm a DC fanatic. Marvel has always been an entertaining source of material, but I love the DC characters because they're more mature, more darker, and they're not afraid to touch into into more of a sinister realm. It's like Marvel is more kiddie-ish. I don't know. To me, it feels like I'm watching movies with kids, and a lot of you guys might not see it that way, but I mean, with this movie, Joker, we just broke new ground. I mean, DC is starting a new label called DC Black, which is movies based on their villains. Marvel hasn't done that. So let's just see what happens. Okay? Let's get into the fourth bit of news. Disney strikes a new deal with Sony to use Spider-Man in one more film. What will this film be? No, everybody is contemplating what is his farewell address film. What should it be? I also read that Disney has struck a deal with Sony not only to make that one film, but for any future Avengers films, they can utilize Spider-Man again. Another friend of mine told me that supposedly Disney is going to be helping Sony 20%. They're going to be doing something with 20% to help them make better movies. I don't know what the heck. I think Sony can do it all on its own. People just need to have faith. I mean, a lot of people were not giving faith to DC because of Batman versus Superman and the Justice League. They immediately started knocking DC down, saying that the Suicide Squad and all these movies sucked. But they're doing it. You know, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, and now the Joker have hit it big. They're doing it. They're learning. Sony is going to learn, and they're going to eventually do it right. Everybody's like, oh, no, Disney should take back Spider-Man and all this stuff. I'm like, no, they don't. They don't need to. I believe that Sony has something good. They just need to work on it. 20th Century Fox, I don't know what they were thinking when they sold out. Excuse me. When they sold all their materials to Disney, what were they thinking? They give away all of their good stuff. Predator, Aliens, Home Alone, the X-Men, Fantastic Four. A lot of people would say, oh, well, the X-Men were falling down and Fantastic Four was sucking and all that stuff. I mean, they just had to learn. They had to sit down and see what they did wrong and work on it. Yeah, they're still doing films, but all their major things are falling down. Like, they gave them away. They practically gave them away. I mean, they had billions of dollars worth of material, but they just gave all their stuff away to Disney. What is Disney going to do? They're going to make family-friendly films. With Predator? With Alien? What the heck? I don't know. I mean, the whole Disney and Sony deal was pretty much, if you guys don't know yet, Disney had proposed a 50-50 deal with both companies would co-finance the films, putting up half of the production cost and split the profits. Sony refused. They would literally split the profits down. Sony, before, they had worked out a deal where they would make the money. From what I heard, Disney will make the money Sony will make their money off of the film. Disney will make their money off of all the profits of the merchandise. That was the deal that I supposedly heard for the first 5 installments. But then Disney was trying to work out another deal with Sony, telling them to have a 50-50 deal and trying to be a little more conniving and trying to slowly, edge their way in. Sony did not like it. They backed out of the deal and took Spider-Man with them. Eventually, they were able to talk something out where supposedly Spider-Man is going to come for one last film, because originally I heard that they were going to do 6 films with Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man was going to go back to Sony. With this deal falling through, they decided to take Spider-Man and run away. So we only have 5 films. When I found out that they were doing a 6th film, I was like, okay, so that makes more sense. Now they got their 6th film. But now I'm hearing that they're working out a deal so they can be for future installments of the Avengers. And then I'm hearing other stuff about Disney helping out Sony to make better films with their installment of the Spider-Verse and all this other stuff. So honestly, I don't know what exactly it is, because there's a lot of hearsay stuff. I'm just hoping that Spider-Man eventually, goes back to Sony. I want to see what Sony does with that. If by any chance Sony flops up, then give it back to Disney and let Disney do what they need to do. I'm faithful to, and I faithfully believe that Sony has learned, and we can actually see something happen. I believe. If you guys don't care, if you guys don't believe and you guys want to knock me out for it, I'm sorry, but that's just my faith. Okay, I believe in it. I enjoyed The Amazing Spider-Man. I enjoyed The Amazing Spider-Man too. I thought those movies were fun, but people are like, oh man, it wasn't true to the comics. Oh my god, now he's here with the Avengers, and it was the best thing. Oh, shut up. So yeah. So Spider-Man 3 for the Disney movies, it has a set date of July 16, 2021. Okay? So I guess we can expect that to be dropping in 2 years. Excuse me. All right. Fifth bit of information that I need to tell you guys. Eddie Murphy is looking to come back with a fan favorite series known as Beverly Hills Cop. He wants to do part 4. He believes that Dolomite, which is a film that he's been working on for the past year, is going to hit it big. So with that hitting it big, he feels like he's going to be back on the spotlight and he'll be able to do Beverly Hills Cop 4, which brings me to another bit of news that I just found out today. We've been hearing it for the longest about Rush Hour 4, Rush Hour 4, Rush Hour 4. I'm going to post up a picture of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker going like this. So what does that mean? Rush Hour 4? Is it happening? Kind of like Bad Boys 3 when Will Smith and Martin Lawrence came out and said it's actually, they confirmed it. It's actually happening. So let's see what happens. All right, I'm sorry. It's just that my dog's acting up. Look at this guy. Go. He's going to be back there. All right. So my sixth bit of information that you guys might want to know. So ever since Arrow and Flash and Supergirl and all these other shows have been joined with the CW, they've had these things called the crossover episodes where you get to see Green Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and all these other people just do one giant episode within like four episodes of each series connected to each other, known as the Arrowverse. So this year is going to be the biggest one, I guess, because Green Arrow is destined supposedly to die or something like that. So they have gotten a collage of old DC film veterans like Tom Welling in Smallville, Brandon Routh in Superman Returns, and he's also Adam in Legends of Tomorrow. We have Burt Ward for he was the original Robin in the 1960s Batman show. We have Erica Durance coming back as Lois Lane, who is also the mother of Supergirl in the show Supergirl. Who else do we have? We have the original Kevin Conroy coming to portray Batman in this crossover episode. So it's supposed to be one of the biggest episodes, and they keep just throwing in more and more people into the mix. So supposedly what I was reading is that this crossover episode is going to be a backdoor pilot to season 11 of Smallville. So if you were a fan of Smallville, which was in like the early 2000s, it was like 10 seasons of young Clark Kent becoming living in Smallville and learning about his powers and all that beautiful stuff, eventually becoming Superman. So that's going to be cool to see him come back. I mean, Tom Welling has had a little bit of a career. He popped up in a couple of movies. Last thing that I saw him in was Lucifer season, I think it was season 3. So to see him come back in Smallville It's gonna be cool. I mean, this is the Batman. This is the Superman that we got to see. This is Superman that I saw in my late years of high school, early adult years. So I mean, I'm waiting to see what new adventures. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be an already set Superman. So we're gonna have. I hope it's not like Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. I mean, come on. Alrighty, number 12 bit of news that I found out. Sam Raimi, director of Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. He also did Drag Me to Hell. He's been producer of the Grudge movies. He did a little film back in the 80s, I believe, or early 70s, late 70s, called The Evil Dead. He also did Evil Dead 2, which is kind of like a reboot of The Evil Dead. It was more of a comical reboot. And then he did The Army of Darkness, which would be the trilogy. And then years later, he came back, I think, as a producer to do the Evil Dead reboot, which wasn't that bad of a movie. It was very dark and very demonic. But I don't know, I guess nobody really cared for it, and a sequel to that was never made. So he went ahead and did Ash versus the Evil Dead, which was bringing back Bruce Campbell from the first three films to reprise his role as Ash and kill demons throughout this series, which was... I think they did 3 seasons of it, and then it got canceled. And Bruce Campbell decided to retire as an actor. But Sam Raimi wants to. He's completing his because they are rebooting The Grudge. It's called Grudge. The same. I don't know if it's going to be the same story, but whatever. They're rebooting the story of The Grudge. So it should be out. That should be out in 2020. But he has already tossed around the idea of doing a new Evil Dead movie with a new director who they haven't named yet. But Bruce Campbell will be producer in the film. Sam Raimi wants him to come out of retirement to play Ash again, but he says no. He just wants to. If he does come back, he does come back. But right now, he just wants to chill. He's made his monies, he's made his millions, and he's old. He just wants to chill. Alrighty, going back to the world of Star Wars. In Rise of Skywalker. So the merchandise for Rise of Skywalker has been released. And if you saw in The Last Jedi, they introduced this new character called Rose Tico, who was an Asian character. It doesn't seem like she's going to be in the new Skywalker film because for some odd reason, there is no merchandise of her. Was she removed out of the story? Is she gone? Or will she? Are they gonna surprise us or something? I don't know. But as of now, people are speculating that she was removed, or maybe they'll kill her off. I don't know. That is the question. Rise of Skywalker coming out December, so we still got a long ways to go, but it should be here soon, and we'll see the truth. Okay. Moving on, number 14. I don't know who in the world believes that Robert Downey Jr. deserves an Oscar nomination for Avengers Endgame, or for any of the Avengers, or for any of the Marvel movies. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is an awesome actor. But honestly, his character didn't do much. I mean, it wasn't one of those, oh my God, heartfelt performances that I need to reward for. I mean, he was no Joker. He was no Joaquin Phoenix. I'm sorry. Yes, because he cried at the end because he died. That's why he deserves an award? I'm sorry. He's done plenty of other stuff that he's been nominated for, and I think he's won for stuff. But this movie was nowhere near remotely close to that. People are just because Black Panther was nominated for a movie of the year last year because it was a popular film, I'm sorry, that was staged. Black Panther did not deserve to even be nominated for that. Yeah, it was nominated for editing and music, which was fine. But for Best Movie of the Year, no. I'm sorry. It didn't deserve that. Any of the Marvel movies don't deserve that. They don't take time. Okay, Joaquin Phoenix said it best. He waited for the perfect superhero movie to do. He didn't have time to do quantity films because he knows that every superhero film, if he signs a contract, he has to do multiple films. He only wanted one. And he waited for the Joker. And he did it. And he said, quality over quantity. That means that DC has quality films. Marvel does good movies, yes. Not gonna knock them. I'm not gonna take that away from them. They make billion-dollar films, but in the long run, do they give deep, passionate performances? These characters, no, they don't. It's just pure action, blow up, smack in your face type films, and that's what it is. That's what sells. So on the real, I don't think Robert Downey Jr. deserves an Oscar nomination just for playing Tony Stark and dying and crying at the end of the movie. Yes, it was a good movie. Yes, it was a sad end. But in my personal opinion, no nomination for me. Number 15. Oh, this is gonna be good. When I saw John Wick 3, I saw a couple of things in that film, and I said, they can make a movie about that, they can make a movie about that, they can make a movie about that. But one specific character stuck out to me, and I was like, they can literally make a movie about that character. And it was the ballerina. I said, they can make a movie about that. And that's the sideways character that they can take to make it a spin-off into a female film. Because I want to see the ballerina assassin. And just like that, we got Ballerina John Wick spinoff finds director Len Wiseman, who is better known for films such as Underworld, Underworld 2, Live Free or Die Hard, Total Recall. He was married to Kate Beckinsale. Was it Kate Beckinsale? Yeah, Kate Beckinsale, who played Selena in Celine in the Underworld movies. So that's gonna be an interesting spin. He's good for action films, and I just want to see this female kick butt. She looked awesome in that sequence when when Angelica Houston was telling her to dance and do all this stuff and all this stuff. I'm like, yo, this chick can be. I want to see this movie. So now that I hear about that, John Wick 4 is also being done. So we're gonna have two movies in the world of John Wick, which is gonna be awesome to see. A John Wick universe, a Wickiverse. That's gonna be cool. Continuing on, Matrix 4 news gets their lead actor. So yeah, Keanu Reeves is not going to play the lead. He's probably going to play a mentor. I mean, he is old. Carrie-Anne Moss is probably going to be, a mentor as well. But we have Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Who is that, you may say? Well, he starred in a little movie that was over $1 billion last year called Aquaman. He played the character of Black Manta. So, I mean, not much has been released with Matrix 4. All we know is that one of the Wachowski sisters is directing it. I don't know about the other one, if she's going to be stepping in or he's going to be stepping in. Yeah, they were brothers at one point. But let's see what happens. I mean, we've been clamoring for a part 4 for the longest after we saw that Neo passed away or fell asleep or something. So we knew he wasn't dead at the end of the movie, Matrix Revolutions. They say that it was one of the predecessors. So I mean, it was eventually gonna happen. There was gonna be a sequel or something. Hopefully, this will bring back the Wachowski sisters or the Wachowski brothers or the Wachowskis back to where they were when they first created the Matrix. Then they went off to do a bunch of other films, like they co-wrote V for Vendetta, which was an amazing film. Then they did Speed Racer, which, because of people always crying for bullcrap, they said that it was what's that called, whitewashing, and they bombed the movie. But it was I thought it was a tasty treat of a movie. Just it felt like watching Skittles. And then after that, they did this movie. To me, sucked. It was so boring. Cloud Atlas. I mean, I guess I would have to read the book to see if I could appreciate a little more, but that movie was just beyond bleh. Then after that, they did Jupiter Ascending, which I thought wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. But the media bombed this movie. This was the world's worst movie. And then from there, they kind of just went on a hiatus doing a show called Sense8, which they've gotten a lot of acclaim for. So, I mean, I have yet to see it, so I don't really know. So, I mean, this would be a step back into seeing if they could get over from here, up here. So let's see if Matrix 4, what Matrix 4 has to bring. Alrighty, a little bit of WWE news. The Rock comes back to the WWE to inaugurate a new day for the WWE SmackDown, now on Fridays. I personally didn't see the episode yet because I'm a little behind on the WWE, but I will be catching up because I'm a WWE fan. I have everything set up. I've been watching a couple of things here and there. I have the WWE Network. I have Hulu just so I can watch everything. And I'm even interested in starting AEW, All Elite Wrestling, because some of these, I just been hearing such great things about it. I feel I've been hearing that WWE is declining and AEW is going up, which is pretty hard to think about because the WWE is such a big it's such a big monopoly, I guess you could say. I mean, they haven't taken every wrestling thing out, but I mean, they're the biggest. And for SmackDown, Raw, what is it? 205 Live, NXT, all these different shows, and for them to be declining, it's like they're desperately trying to figure out what to do. And AEW seems to be doing something good. I mean, a lot of the wrestlers from the WWE are running to AEW. I mean, we got Dean Ambrose, who portrays now the character of Jon Moxley. We've had the Perfect 10, who's over there. We have what's his name? Cody Rhodes, Jericho, who else? Goldust. They're all over there wrestling, and a lot of wrestlers are just running over there to do their stuff because it's more of a freedom over there, So let's see what happens. I mean, WWE needs to step up their game. I mean, look at this. I thought it was a demotion, but for I guess if you actually think about it, it's not really a demotion because NXT has become like the third. I mean, you got SmackDown and Raw, which was they're the main roster, and they're two big wrestling venues. But NXT is getting up there as well. Like, it's no longer just their training grounds. No, it's become a competitor with Raw and SmackDown. And in some ways, so NXT is better than Raw and SmackDown because they actually have actual wrestlers who do a lot of things, and they have real stories and stuff. But Finn Balor is headlining. He is the biggest head to go into NXT. He is the lead because, I mean, in SmackDown and Raw, let's face it, he was just literally a side character. He wasn't getting no play. But now in NXT, he is big cookies. Everybody wants him. He's going to be winning the belt. Honestly, I think Finn Balor should probably go to AEW because WWE can't handle it. WWE has too many stars right now. Shinsuke Nakamura. They have too many big heads in there that they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. I don't even know why. They just went on a tangent and bought up every wrestler that they could get their hands on. And to tell you the truth, Bobby Roode's another big one in there. They don't know. They really don't know what to do. They've messed up so much. They at one point they had no wrestlers, and now they have too many wrestlers, and they don't know what to do. They're literally trying to come up with stories that they've already used. They've already used these tasteless stories. Let's see what happens. I mean, Finn Balor going into NXT, I personally believe that it was a demotion. But if he's going to be the head of NXT as the top dog, let's see if it's a good call. If not, I think he should personally just go to AEW and start his whole thing over there. And with that, I have come to the end of all the news. Now, let me talk a little bit about two of the movies that I saw this past week. This past week and the week before. Number one, The Joker. Can I say more? To me, I believe this Joker film was the best DC movie to be produced. Best Joker, it hands down. A lot of people debate that. No, Heath Ledger. No, Jack Nicholson. No. Well, those movies, like Heath Ledger shared the time with Two-Face and Batman, Christian Bale. It wasn't a Joker film. I personally believe that if Heath Ledger would have done a Joker film by himself, that would have probably been the ultimate film. Because he had a good character going on. But we saw him half of the time he had to share it with the other characters. Same thing with Jack Nicholson. He had to share time with Michael Keaton, and back and forth. This movie was Joaquin Phoenix all day, all the time. We got to see the mental breakdown of Joaquin Phoenix's psyche. We got to see how he was treated. We got to see his youth. We got to see just about every single aspect of the time that he was broken and became the full-on Joker. You actually see him get into a cocoon, going through his metamorphosis, becoming a full-on butterfly, and he goes insane and loony. To me, I believe that he is Oscar nominated worthy. I believe that he's going to get not only a nomination, that he will take the award. I believe that there's so much things to this film that is just too much to understand and too much to explain. A lot of people have been coming up with all these different people walked out of the movie theater. This movie's too dark. It's blah blah blah. Yo. You have seen worse things. You have seen worse movies. This movie wasn't that dark. It was just regular, a regular film. It was a regular film with darkness in it. It wasn't an action film, so don't expect this to be some sort of action adventure film. No, this is a dramatic film. A dramatic depiction of what it is to be a man broken in society today, and nobody caring for his mental welfare until he decides to take matters into his own hands. It was a masterpiece of a film. I came out of the movie. Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix did their utmost. It was perfection. The movie sets it up like there's going to be a sequel. Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix both said that they only pitched the idea to Warner Brothers as a one film. Whatever you see, you already know what happens in the future. You don't need to see another sequel. I mean, true, Joaquin Phoenix did say that he's obsessed with the character. Now, he can't stop thinking about the character. And if there was another film to tell the story, to continue the progression of the Joker, that he wouldn't mind coming back, but that he knows that there's an infinite stories to the Joker, and he's just not willing to do multiple films. Todd Phillips also said that he would love to work with Joaquin Phoenix again in the future. It just they don't know what will be the next entry of whatever. Todd Phillips is known for his movies, The Hangovers, and movies like that. But he really outdid himself in this artistic piece. From the beginning of the movie to the end is based in the late 70s, late 70s and stuff. And it's just it's a period piece, and it was I thought it was a very very good film. Pretty much, it was a very good film. I'm expecting this to make to be the next $1 billion DC film. Aquaman being the first. So let's just see what happens. Crossing my fingers. I already seen the movie twice. I'm in it for a third time. Let's see if I do go see it a third time. I don't know. But great film. Great movie. And let's move on to the next film, Gemini Man with Will Smith. Do I really have to say stuff about this movie? I mean, Will Smith will sell anything. He could mow a lawn for 2 hours, and people will pay just to go see him. I know this movie's gonna make its money. And also, the director was Ang Lee. I'm used to Ang Lee doing. I mean, I saw him. Well, I remember the first movie that I saw that Ang Lee did was the Hulk, the original Hulk with Eric Bana. That movie sucked. Then the second movie that I saw that he did was Brokeback Mountain. I went with a couple of friends. There were a couple. They wanted to see it. I used to work at AMC, so I took him in for free. I literally held on to his girlfriend the whole time. But Gemini Man I thought it was a bad movie. The CGI was horrible. I thought that the 90s movie with Michael Keaton, where he plays a multiple character called Multiplicity, was better. That's how bad I felt the movie was. The story was really bleh. I wasn't too much of a fan of this film. But hey, you might like it. Go if you want to go watch it. Go ahead. It's your dime. I just rather not waste my time. And if I can speak to anybody not to waste their time, then I'm speaking to you. And that's pretty much all the stuff that I got for you for Dave's Corner, Dave D. Saint. I went to Comiccon this past weekend. It was amazing. I got to meet two of my childhood stars, Amy Jo Johnson, the Pink Ranger, and Johnny Bosch, the second Black Ranger. Last year I met the first Red Ranger, which was Austin St. John. I got his autograph, which you can see up to right here. I got it signed by him. The first year I went, I got to meet Jason David Frank, which I also got an autograph back here somewhere. It's up here somewhere. But I wanted to get my pop signed by him, but unfortunately he wasn't there. And to get those two autographs, if you can see over here, see these two things right here? That's my Pink Ranger and that's my Black Ranger, signed by both of them. It costs a lot to get their autographs. So I wasn't going to go bankrupt just trying to get Steve Cardenas, which is the second Red Ranger, and Austin St. John, which was the first Red Ranger, just so they can sign their thing, my pop. But yeah, I got to see a lot of cosplays. I got to see a lot of I didn't really go see the panels. A friend of mine told me Margot Robbie was there. She did an unscheduled visit, which would have been awesome to see, but I didn't get to see her on Saturday. But I'll be posting up pictures and all these different things that I saw. Alrighty, and with that, I will be leaving you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Dave's Corner. I am Dave D. Saint. If you like me, hit the like button, subscribe, leave me a message. I do read all these messages. I do reply back or whatever. So yeah. In the future, I'll be doing a little more different things. I want to do a whole blue screen back here to start editing new things back here. I want to start doing things. I want to play with this. All right, I'm going to get a camera. This has been, me with my cell phone and all that stuff. That's why you see me jiggling all of it. It's just me starting. So let's see what happens. I'm Dave D. Saint. Have a good night. Catch you later.